They were diving into how to transform your perspective through changing your mindset and how this shift can radically alter your life trajectory. Let's explore these ideas together. Welcome to today's podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We're going to explore how just a simple shift in your mindset can dramatically change your life, right? Imagine wake up every day believing that the world isn't just happening to you, but it's happening for you. Every challenge, every opportunity perfectly orchestrated to enhance our life, right? So let's dive into this journey um, through mindset transformation, right? So let's talk about the incredible power of mindset, right? Many of us go through life just reacting to events at, as they happen, right? Often we feel like we're at the mercy of our circumstance. Things are just happening around us and we don't have any control of any of it, right? But what if I told you that the biggest battle and the most profound victories happen right here in our minds? When I was in college, I chose to move into an apartment. And when I made that decision, I was hit with blow after blow after blow. And when I moved in, I had a full time job, I had a roommate. But then my roommate moved out and got engaged to his girlfriend. Beautiful, beautiful thing for him, right? It was a great, great experience. But for me, I had to come up with some extra cash. Then my job cut my hours. I went from working 35 hours a week to working 12 hours a week, right? I felt like I was at rock bottom. This was a rock bottom moment for me. I remember sleeping on my futon mattress and literally only having a gallon of water in my refrigerator, right? And my only meal came when I went to work. And I didn't know at this moment what to do or even where to turn. So I woke up one morning and I went to the library and I just started to research how to change my life. This was the beginning of a shift for me, right? And this shift saved my life. It wasn't overnight, it wasn't immediate, but this was the beginning of me realizing that there was a different way to approach life in the way that I experienced it. So as I dug into mindset, what I found and what I realized it meant was the perspective in which we see the world, right? I came across a ton of things that stood out to me as I was doing my research on how to change my life. And I came across this whole mindset thing. And what I realized is that we have control over the perspective in which we see the world. It's nobody else's control but ours. Wayne Dyer said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I believe this is so freaking true, right? When you start to view challenges as opportunity, the obstacles in your life, they stop being roadblocks, but they start to become stepping stones. This shift, it involved a ton of reflection, a ton of soul searching, a ton of question asking of myself. And most importantly, it called for a conscious decision to choose to change the narrative that I had created for my life. And I had to embrace the idea that I wasn't just going through challenges, but those challenges were leading me through or leading me down a path of personal growth. I lost this job. I didn't have a roommate. I had to figure out how to make more money. So I had to build new relationships. I had to find another source of income, right? So for you, think about a time in your life when something didn't go as planned. Right? How did you respond to it? Now imagine if you chose to shift your perspective of that situation, right? To look at it from a perspective of what am I supposed to learn from this experience? Could that have changed your reaction? Could you have seen that as a signal or an or maybe even a stop sign, right? As we dig deeper into how to cultivate this mindset, I want us to remember that the lens in which we view the world through shapes our reality. The way we choose to see experiences, the way we choose to experience conversations, the way we choose to view relationships shapes what we do in the future. It shapes what we see in the future. So let's dig a little bit deeper into what mindset really is. And understanding this concept is extremely crucial in us truly being able to harness our own individual power that was given to us, that we were created with, right? So, mindset at its core is the lens through which we view our challenges and success, right? It's more than just a temporary state of mind. It's the foundation of how we interpret every experience, every setback, and every victory, right? Our mindset affects our daily decisions and even on a long term basis and a long term aspiration, right? It's the story that we've chosen to tell ourselves about our experience, about who we are, about how we were raised and how we were cultivated, right? I say the story in which we choose to tell ourselves because we have the power to choose the story. We have the power to choose the story. So by recognizing this important piece and choosing to shift our mindset, we're not just changing thoughts from one day or one moment, but we're reshaping our entire reality, and ultimately we're reshaping our brain. We're literally changing the makeup of the brain, right? This shift influences how we approach our future, right? How we overcome obstacles, how we seize each opportunity, and essentially we're changing our mindset, right? And when we change our mindset, we're paving a new, we're paving the way for new possibilities, right? In new directions in our life. And I say this, and it sounds easy, right? But this calls for major work on our part. And it's a process, not something that's going to be immediate, but it's a process. So let's shift gears and talk about this concept that's super powerful when it comes to mindset, and it takes this conversation to another level. This concept is called pronoia, right? Pronoia is the opposite of paranoia. Paranoia is the idea that the world is against you, right? The idea that you have to be on the defensive all the time and you're paranoid about what is going to happen because it's going to be negative. Those are my terms, layman's terms for paranoia, right? Pronoia is just the opposite. It's the belief that God, the universe, is conspiring in your favor. Imagine, imagine every event, every encounter is designed to help you succeed, designed to teach you something about yourself that will help you to develop and to evolve into the person that you desire to become. What if that was the possibility? Pronoia is the radical belief that the universe is plotting to make you happy. Adopting this mindset and this idea of pronoia or this pronoic mindset, it means seeing potential growth and positive outcome in everything around you, right? It's believing that even the toughest challenges are setups for your greatest rewards, right? Because this does not mean that we're ignoring the difficult things. We're ignoring the things that don't go in our favor. We're ignoring the quote unquote negative things in life. We're not ignoring those, right? But what it means is we're acknowledging that those things will happen in our lives, but we're choosing to reinterpret what those mean. We're choosing to reinterpret the challenges, and we're choosing the label of the experience to see them as opportunities to advance and evolve. That's what developing this pronoic mindset actually means, right? It's not a pie in the sky idea and we're just going to be oblivious to things that are happening around us. No, we're accepting the things that are happening around us and we're looking for the opportunity in those things around us, right? You see, the way the brain works is it doesn't know what's real or fake, right? The brain is designed to take the data that is given or take the information that is given. So we as humans, we place labels and feelings and emotions on things. The brain just takes the information and works to create based on just the sheer data, the raw data itself that it received, right? And so if you say, I'm not good at this, or I'm no good, right? The brain, what it ensures is that it's going to identify opportunities that's going to reinforce that you're not good, right? You're not good at that. You're not good at this. You're not good at anything. The brain is going to identify opportunities to reinforce that, right? There's a structure in the brain called the reticular activation system. And this structure is a cluster of neurons in the base of the skull that it what it does is it filters out information that we deem not to be important, right? If we received all of the stimuli and all the information that was always happening around us, we would go into sensory overload all the time, right? So the reticular activation system is designed to only allow in the information that we've deemed to be important. So if we view the world as negatives, we make sure that we've determined that the negative things are what's important. So what we identify are things that are in alignment with things being negative. The way we view conversation are always going to be from a negative perspective. We're going to hear them. We're going to hear the words as negative. We may not even interpret the information that's actually given because our perspective, our view of the world now is shooted from a negative perspective, right? Whereas if we chose to say, I'm not good at this yet, right? Or I'm becoming better at that, then we would view things from a positive perspective and would allow positive things to come into our lives. So what happens is it ultimately becomes or feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? From a negative perspective, I think I'm no good. I'm not good at this. So we find things that we're not good at. We're just naturally, it feels like naturally identify things that we're not good at. And we continue to, even if we start to make a little bit of progress, we ultimately, we call it self-sabotaging that experience because our reticular activation system is capping us at a certain level because we already said we're not good at it. So we're going to ultimately be able to make that happen, right? So it feels like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you find yourself saying, "See, I told you I was no good at that," right? But like I said, the reticular activation system works in the opposite as well. If you tell yourself that you are good, or I'm not the best at this yet, that opens up the opportunity for you to become aware of things and opportunities so that you can become better because you've made it a point to make it important to say, I'm getting there or I'm growing, or I'm not there yet. So you leave the door open. right? And that shifts the the, the awareness of the reticular activation system, right? And so you become aware of more opportunities to reinforce the skill and the opportunities for you to use those skills more, right? And so I want you to think about a recent challenge, a difficult moment, right? And think about it through the perspective of pronoia. How could that difficult moment serve you? How could that difficult moment be designed to teach you something that will help you become the person that you truly desire to become? How could that be working in your favor? Right? Maybe it taught you that lesson, or perhaps pushed you outside of your comfort zone, leading you to grow. Embracing pronoia, like I said, it isn't about just blind optimism, right? It's about actively choosing the perspective that enhances us, that enhances our resilience, and it directs our action toward things of progress, things of growth, right? Toward the positive outcome, right? It's about making an ally out of the unknown, right? Making a friend out of the uncertainty. It's about training that reticular activation system to identify opportunity for you to become better. As we continue to explore mindset shifts, remember that the choice of how you view the world is entirely yours. It's entirely yours. So now that we see how powerful a positive outlook can be, I want to talk about how we actually cultivate this mindset on a daily basis by developing that pronoia and retraining our reticular activation system, right? And again, it's not about ignoring reality, but it's about accepting what's happening, and it's about enhancing our ability to see and create positive outcomes. So first, the first thing that you can do is journaling, right? And journaling isn't just about writing down what happens in your day, but it's about reflecting on those events from a perspective of growth and opportunity. For instance, right? Writing about that difficult moment or that difficult event, and then reframing it by identifying potential positive outcome or lessons to be learned. So in this journaling, you can ask yourself this question, right? Why did that experience trigger me? Right? If it was something that triggered a negative response from you, what about it triggered me and why did it? Right? When is the first time that I remember feeling this way? And what this does is it allows you to go down the thought process of figuring out where you learned that that thing was bad, what that first experience was. And now you can have a conversation with yourself about your childhood. And you can then ask yourself the question of what were the people that were involved in that experience going through at the time? So you can start to piece together the other pieces of the story that we don't know as children that create our beliefs. And we can start to see that those people might have been going through something at that time that caused them to treat us the way that they did. It wasn't anything about what we did or who we were, but it was about how broken the other person was, and they were only giving what they had. I hope this makes sense, right? And so this allows you to go back into your history and to identify the moments that made you feel a way, and you're able to develop a different understanding of those experiences. And then you can, as you identify those moments, now you can change the label of that experience, right? You can change the label of they told me that I wasn't good to this is a reflection of them. They didn't feel like they were good in those types of moments. That doesn't mean that I'm no. And today, I'm not that fatal. So I can choose to say, that wasn't me. Now, how can I develop me into the person that I desire to become? Right. And this conversation with yourself can continue to evolve. Right. And again, it's not about changing what happened, but it's about better understanding the experience to be able to change how we connect with that experience. Doing this allows us to change the label that we've placed on those experiences, change the label that we've placed on ourselves. And changing the label means disconnecting the emotion from the experience to see how those experiences and the people that were connected to those experiences made you feel. And this was likely more about that person's representation of themselves as opposed to a representation of you and who you are. This goes deep into core beliefs, which we'll cover in another video. But journaling and asking ourselves these types of questions can help us to start to uncover lessons and understanding from past experience, right? And this will allow us to experience new things differently, ultimately shifting the perspective of those new experiences from the perspective of our childhood self or our adolescent self or our young adult self to who we are today. The next thing that you can do is meditation, right? This practice of meditation, it helps you to detach from the immediate emotional reaction and view situations more objectively. Now, the meditation isn't about stopping the brain from moving, right? Or stopping the brain from thinking, but it's about controlling the thoughts that you attach to, right? And it allows you to enhance your capability, like I said, to choose the response rather than to get swept away by those initial feelings of disappointment or frustration, right? Developing a meditation practice is major in shifting your perspective and how it really and it really allows you to develop a greater connection spiritually and with yourself. It allows you to hear the internal thought so that you can then go back and journal about the experience and that connection to the experience so that you can then work to change that label. Right? It allows you to look at it from the objective perspective, like there's a camera looking down on you in that experience so that you can see all of the different angles of what's happening so that you can get a full view of the experience. So meditation is extremely powerful when it comes to retraining the brain and retraining the reticular activation system because it gives us a broader view of experiences and our emotional connection. The third and final thing is gratitude practice. Gratitude practice, this can be as simple as listing three things that you're grateful for each day, right? When you first wake up, writing down the three things that you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing or what's going wrong to what's actually present and what's positive in your life, right? And it fuels a more optimistic outlook. And if you do it in the morning, just after waking up, it allows you to let that reticular activation system know this is how we're choosing to see the world today, right? It's a, like I said, it's great to implement that first thing in the morning. It tells that reticular activation system to be aware of what's present, not what's not. And it sets the tone for the perspective for that day, right? So when you feed your mind with positive thought, your life starts to align with those positives because you're expanding the awareness of the reticular activation system and the opportunities and the relationships and the people, things that are already happening around you, right? It's about seeing the good and more good follows, right? You become more aware of the good things, the opportunities, opposed to the negatives and what you don't have, because you're more aware of the positives that are already happening around you. But because the reticular activation system was blocking those out, those blind spots, now you're able to see them because you've chosen to make positive important. So I encourage you to start integrating these practices into your daily routine, right? Choose one strategy and focus on it for the week, right? Be it whether it's journaling, meditation, or expressing gratitude, and pay attention to the small shifts, right? In how you perceive the daily events and the daily challenges, because those challenges are going to come, but it's about how we perceive them and how we view those challenges when they do come. So remember, cultivating a positive mindset through practice doesn't just change the outlook, but it changes the outcomes. So by nurturing that pronoia, you're not just hoping for a better future, but you're actively building it. So as we wrap up, I want us to reflect on how adopting these strategies can lead to significant changes in our personal and even professional life. Like I stated before, I want to build a community. I want to build a community of individuals that are working to become better. It's not about being perfect, not about being better than anybody else, but it's about being the best version of yourself. So I want us to reflect on the role that mindset plays in shaping every facet of our lives, not just thinking positively. It's about fundamentally transforming how we interpret and respond to the world around. So we've explored pronoia today, the belief that the universe, that God is conspiring in our favor. Every experience, every situation, every challenge is designed to help us grow, not to hurt us. I urge you to embrace this concept. Start seeing life's challenges not just hurdles, but as opportunities, uniquely tailored to your growth and your development. So let's not fear change, but let's embrace it as a necessary chapter in the story of who we're becoming and who we're meant to be. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'd love to hear your experiences and how you start to experience these different mindset shifts, right? Leave, drop your stories in your comments below. Let's discuss how these insights play a role in your life and how they play out and how you implement them moving forward. If you found value today, make sure you subscribe, right? We have a lot more to explore, a lot more to explore. And my goal is to give information that I've experienced, things that I've learned that have helped me move forward in my journey. So I thank you for going on this journey with me today, right? Stay tuned for the next video. Remember, every step you take is an integral part of a larger journey toward the person that you're becoming. This journey of life, not about the end destination, but it's about the person that you become in the process of achieving or attaining that end goal. So embrace each moment, learn from each challenge, and keep pressing forward with optimism, grace, and resilience. Take care. Peace.